Hi, it's Colin Cowherd. I started The Volume to bring you some of the most authentic voices in sports. While you're here, make sure you hit subscribe. Thanks. Fake questions, real answers, every Friday morning podcast. Stuff I want to talk about but don't want to wait for you to ask me. Here we go. Dear Colin, hey, you got a little blowback for saying that you received a weird text about Aaron Rodgers just like Boomer Esiason did. What are you going to say? Well, I'm just telling you what happened. Sorry if that makes you uncomfortable. Yes, I received a text several years ago from a number in Virginia that had bizarrely detailed information about the Packers and Aaron Rodgers. I didn't say it was a fact that Aaron was behind it. I didn't say anybody in Green Bay was absolutely or definitively behind it. I said it was fishy as hell, especially once I got that Boomer Esiason stuff. First of all, if you want to blame somebody for spreading misinformation, how about Aaron Rodgers? He's giving people medical advice and telling them to follow Dr. Joe Rogan about vaccines. Aaron often wants the media to be more responsible. Yeah, I really liked your vaccine hocus pocus. He's not really anybody to tell anybody who's responsible and irresponsible. Aaron is one of those guys that wants to see both sides of a story. Well, I'll give you my side. My side is, that was a weird text. Boomer got a weird text. They were both from the same state. I wanted to tell the story. All the anti-media people aren't really anti-media. Packer fans, you guys in the media, you're not anti-media. You're just anti-media you don't agree with. Right? You think Rachel Maddow and that Russian Trump story's nonsense, you don't trust her. You're a conservative. And by the way, you liberals don't trust these conservatives because of what Tucker Carlson says every night. People only want media they agree with. Even liberals love Bill Maher until he sort of takes a moderate to conservative side. Then they go to Twitter and say, Maher's toast. I haven't watched him in 20 years. It's sort of like liberals do with Dave Chappelle. Now I'm suddenly supposed to believe he's not funny because of a joke he did that landed poorly to many people? Stop. You consume the media. It doesn't matter if you like it. Dear Colin, what do you make of the Houston Texans firing David Culley? Well, he signed a 2-year contract. And even though I think he deserved a second year, lots of relationships are stopgaps. Sometimes you date, sometimes you marry. Sometimes you rent, sometimes you buy. Sometimes you lease, sometimes you buy. We all have employment options where we don't plan on working in a company forever. David Culley, in my opinion, deserved a second year. I thought the Texans play hard despite very limited talent. I mean, hell, they beat the Chargers late in the season. But this was not a 5-year contract. He got a massive payout to leave. Everybody understood it was a stopgap move because no elite candidates wanted it last year because of several reasons. One, bad ownership, and the other, the Deshaun Watson mess. But folks, this is the way life works. Anybody think Joe Biden's a 2-term president? Do I think there should be more black coaches? Absolutely. Do I think it feels like African-American coaches have to prove themselves more? Absolutely. I hated the Brian Flores firing. But in this instance, David Culley, we knew it going in. This was a short contract. This was going to be a short-term solution to a big long-term problem. Dear Colin, how come Tom Brady looks great at 44 and Big Ben looks done at 39? Well, successful people often know there's one thing more important than learning, and that's unlearning. The easy part's learning. It's getting rid of bad habits and bad ideas and pivoting to new stuff that's hard. You got to be self-critical. Tom Brady at 44 looks like a totally different person at 22. He's thinner. He looks better. Big Ben's 39, looks like a totally different person than 29 in a bad way. Ben's always reminding me of Brett Favre. Good old boys, lacked discipline, had mobility, took a lot of hits, kind of conservative, kind of stubborn. Both didn't have nearly the same success late in their careers as they did early. Football's always been, from scheme to coaching to body, a game of evolving. It's constantly changing. Even the rules are. It's not the bomb it out gunslinger league it used to be. The quarterbacks now that are crushing are more efficient. Want to have a 20-year career in the league? You got to be willing to unlearn as much as learn. Dear Colin, what's something that fans do that to you is annoying and drives you nuts? Well, fans always rip coaches and players that they would actually be thrilled to have on their team. This reminds me of Jim Harbaugh. How many Ohio State fans are there listening? Any of you in Chicago? You've been banging on Harbaugh for years at Michigan. Wouldn't you take him as your head coach? Oh, my bad. You're going to go with Brian Daboll, a coordinator who's never been a head coach, over a guy with a 65% winning percentage and a Super Bowl trip in Jim Harbaugh? It's like Jimmy Garoppolo. Everybody bangs on Jimmy Garoppolo. He has a career passer rating of almost 99, a career completion percentage of almost 68. You're a Washington fan, a Pittsburgh fan, a Denver fan. You wouldn't take him? Be careful about bagging on coaches and players because you may be desperate and have a vacancy really soon at those positions. Dear Colin, lots of athletes are underrated and overrated. We know that. Give me an athlete, in your opinion, that doesn't get nearly as much credit as he should. I'll give you somebody, Eli Manning. Because his brother is Peyton, we immediately overlook him. But a quarterback is probably not going to look as great when you compare him to one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time. It's like saying Janet Jackson was a disappointment because she wasn't Michael Jackson. Janet Jackson was a huge star for 20 years. Listen, the Giants were a mess before Eli, and now they're a mess. They were 4-12 in 2003. They draft him. By 2005, they're 11-5. By 2007, they win the Super Bowl. He's MVP. 2011, they do it again, both times over Brady and Belichick. After the 2015 season, they get rid of Coughlin. In 2016, with Eli, they go 11-5, and it's all downhill from there. His last full season was 2018. For the record, Eli had a passer rating that year of 92.5. Do you know where that would be this year? Somewhere between Mac Jones and Josh Allen. Eli Manning has never gotten the credit he deserved. The Giants were a disaster right before they drafted him and a disaster right after they bailed on him. His composure, his intelligence, his decency, his commitment, his leadership are one of the primary reasons they've been a mess for all but the Eli years in the last 25 years.